Hi, welcome to Loft 801. My name is Diego, and today I'm talking about Baahubali: The Beginning. Released in 2015 and directed by S.S. Rajamouli, the film is a monumental piece of Indian cinema. It blends mythical grandeur and compelling storytelling in a way that only a handful of films have. This movie is a benchmark for magnificent movies because of its universal themes, memorable characters, and insane production design. Quick heads up before I fully dive into things, this review will contain some spoilers, so please continue at your own risk. Alright, you've been warned, so let's talk about my favorite Indian film of all time. The story opens with a dramatic visual, a dying queen, Sivagami, pierced by arrows, raising a baby above a river. She dedicates the infant to the Hindu god Shiva before drowning beneath the current. It's a powerful way to start the movie because it sets up the dramatic, epic, mythic, and symbolic birth of our hero. The baby is rescued and raised by some villagers who name him Shivu, but he's also referred to as Shiva. They live under a massive waterfall that towers like a wall between two worlds. The CGI in this movie is pretty obvious in some moments, but I don't really care. This movie's heart and vision are so grandiose and everything, and I love that this movie captures the epicness of everything. This genuinely feels and looks like a timeless tale like the Iliad or the Odyssey. From here, Baahubali becomes a hero's journey in the truest sense. It's filled with mystery, yearning, trials, and ultimate revelations. Shivu is obsessed with climbing the waterfall to discover what lies beyond, and even when he falls and slips, he never gives up. Every obstacle is like a trial ordained by fate and love, and it makes this movie feel Herculean. Once Shivu finally scales the waterfall, he meets and falls in love with the rebel warrior Avantika. I know a lot of people think the romance was controversial, but I do not. First and foremost, I think Baahubali does a wonderful job of showing love as a quest. His journey to scale the waterfall began with a wooden mask that fell from it. Shivu was drawn to something greater than himself, something mysterious and divine. When he finally meets Avantika, he doesn't just find a beautiful woman. He finds a warrior with purpose, someone who stands for justice and rebellion. She's a badass who wants to save her queen Devasena. Shivu admires her strength and passion and chooses to help her. Now, I think the real controversy takes place during the makeover scenes. The romance is very surreal, sensual, and symbolic. It's theatrical. Avantika tries to capture Shivu, but instead of attacking her, he draws symbols on her hands and shoulders. I believe some people mistakenly think he's trying to change her. He's not. Rather, he's trying to reveal something, her beauty beyond her armor and her vulnerability beyond the mission. It's about her seeing herself as more than a warrior. She is a woman, a human, capable of love and being loved. I genuinely loved all the romance scenes. Sure, they're kind of cheesy, but I think that fits the mythical tone of everything. Not just that, it lets this movie dive into its Bollywood fantasy. The costumes, dance numbers, and color palettes are elaborate, making everything feel like a fable. Whether it's the dances, through the waterfalls, or in the garden, the romance felt like two celestial beings discovering one another. What I also loved about the romance is that it kicked off the action. Avantika feels guilty for being distracted from her mission. Shivu is a good man and doesn't chastise her. Instead, he picks up her cause as his own, and it's what leads him to discover the majestic kingdom of Mahishmati. I believe Mahishmati is one of the most iconic fictional kingdoms in all modern cinema. From the gold-drenched palaces to the carved war elephants, this is world building at its finest. Mahishmati is a city that feels ancient, divine, and completely alive. If it were a real city, it would be the wonder of the world. Also, when I say the world building is good in this movie, I don't just mean the way it looks. It certainly looks magnificent, but a lot of the world building is driven by excellent writing. Shivu is a strong man, but he doesn't attack the city to free Queen Devasena. Instead, he sneaks in to scope out the situation and see what the people are struggling with. This introduces us to the saga's villain, Bhallaladeva. I'll just call him Bala, and he is an incredible villain. Like Shivu, he is brutishly strong, but he has a twisted sense of political ambition and destiny. As king, he treats his people poorly and torments Queen Devasena. The people don't like him, and that couldn't be any clearer than when Shivu saves some slaves from a falling 100-foot golden statue of Bala. This sparks hope in them, and they cheer Baahubali. The climax of this movie, well, the first climax of this movie takes place after Shivu rescues Queen Devasena and reunites her with the rebels. Together, they fight against Bala's men through a stormy and muddy night. This is where Shivu meets Kattappa. As audience members, we know who Kattappa is. This movie excels at introducing characters and utilizing them to drive the narrative forward. There are a lot of characters in this story that I haven't mentioned, and I probably won't. I'm trying to stick to the ones who are most relevant and important in this movie and in the sequel. Otherwise, I could ramble on and on and on and on and on about this movie. Kattappa is very important in Baahubali because he is arguably its most tragic figure. He is the commander of the royal army of Mahishmati. He is a seasoned warrior with incredible skill and comes from a lineage of slaves who pledged eternal service to the throne. Not just to a king, but to a throne regardless of whoever sits on it. He is a loyal, humble, and disciplined man bound by dharma. After Shiva and Kattappa's fight, Kattappa kicks off the second half of this movie. That's right, everything I've said up to this point only takes place in the first half. This is a lengthy film running for 2 hours and 39 minutes. But guess what? I don't think it was enough, and I'm so happy there was a sequel. Despite having a long runtime, I was never bored at any point throughout the movie. I promise you, I was so deeply engaged with this movie that I didn't even notice the runtime. I love this movie so much that I even forced my girlfriend to watch it a second time with me.
I liked it.
Okay, back to the story. The big plot twist that has been hinted at throughout the film is that Shivu is of royal lineage. He is the son of Amarendra Baahubali and Queen Devasena. The entire second half of this movie is the story of Baahubali. It's not the entire story because that's what the second film is for. I'll do an entirely separate review for that movie, but in a nutshell, there are 4 parts that this saga can be broken up into. Part 1 is in this film and it's Shivu's story. Part 2 is also in this film and it's the introduction to Baahubali's story, hence the title. Part 3 is in the second film and it's the conclusion of Baahubali's story. And lastly, part 4 is also in the second film and it too is the conclusion to Shivu's story, also hence the title. Everything ties together into one giant epic, but for now I'll stay on track with Baahubali the Beginning. Amarendra Baahubali is the heart of this movie. He is the ideal hero. He is the kind of character who feels straight out of an ancient epic but still feels relatable, noble, and deeply human. He's mythical without feeling distant, and that's what makes him so unforgettable, not just for the characters in this world, but for us as audience members. Amarendra is the rightful heir to the throne of Mahishmati. He is divinely gifted, a classic hero in the mold of figures like King David, Arjuna, or even Superman. But what makes him shine is how director Rajamouli grounds him in compassion, humility, and humor. He doesn't rule by force. He earns loyalty by being kind, wise, and empathetic. He is the perfect example of how might does not equal right. Unlike his cousin Bala, Amarendra doesn't separate himself from commoners. He trains with the soldiers, eats with them, listens to their stories, and laughs amongst them. He's a leader of the people, not just a prince. He's very Christ-like in that aspect. Amarendra's relationships are built on respect. His bond with Kattappa is one of mutual respect. He doesn't treat the old general like a servant, but like a valued elder and even like a father. Baahubali's death is the greatest tragedy in this saga. It hits hard because we grow to love him, see him earn the throne, win battles, and build a kingdom, and then Kattappa says, "I killed him." That moment completely transforms this epic into a Shakespearean tragedy. You can't help but think of how much was lost and what could have been, and it's the perfect setup to the sequel. I talked a lot about Amarendra, so it's only fair I talk about Bala. He is the dark reflection of Baahubali. Baahubali leads with empathy, but Bala leads with fear. Baahubali is selfless, but Bala is calculating and self-serving. Baahubali respects life, but Bala treats others as pawns. Their contrast is thematic. This is a Cain and Abel story where Cain wins. For Bala, power isn't enough. He wants worship and to be seen as a god. In this film, it's like watching the origins of Scar from The Lion King. He is a villain who gets perfectly expanded upon in the conclusion. I've rambled a lot in this review, so I promise I'll wrap things up shortly. There are just a few more things that I want to talk about. I skipped a lot of plot points in the second half of this film, but the war sequence is mythic cinema at its peak. It's like watching an Indian Lord of the Rings, and I ate every second up. The final battle is between Mahishmati and the barbaric Kalakaya tribe. The Kalakayas are monstrous. They are the embodiment of utter chaos, cruelty, and destruction. Their leader promises to kill the men, rape the women, and burn the children alive. The stakes in this battle are clear, and they set the stage for who will rule Mahishmati, Bala's power, or Baahubali's compassion. What really makes this battle incredible is that Rajamouli doesn't just take 2 armies and throw them at each other. He walks you through the plans, which makes every action beat much more satisfying. Mahishmati uses a trident formation, Baahubali taking 1/3 of the army, Bala taking another, and Kattappa leading the center. Baahubali's side is severely under-equipped, but that forces him and his men to be creative in how they defeat their enemies. They use oil-soaked tents as flaming projectiles, and even if it's not realistic, again, I don't care. It's freaking epic and awesome. The conclusion to this battle is beautiful because it reinforces the characters' arcs. Bala charges into battle with a spiked chariot, cutting down friends and foes alike. His ego is in every swing of his mace. Baahubali stops the battle to save captured villagers even though it slows him down. Bala kills the Kalakaya chief, but Baahubali had already captured him alive, just as Queen Sivagami had commanded, and this exposes Bala's selfishness. This final battle cements Baahubali's right to rule, not just because he won, but because of how he won. The cast for this movie is ginormous, and I already talked a lot about the characters I liked, so I'll be brief. Prabhas is amazing as both Amarendra and Shiva. He looks and feels the part, and it's impressive that he trained for nearly 2 years to achieve his physique. Rana Daggubati was a fantastically bulked up villain. Sathya Raj was wonderful as Kattappa. Tamana Bhatia was spirited and graceful as Avantika. Anushka Shetty was perfectly imprisoned, humiliated, but never broken as Queen Devasena. Ramya Krishnan was a force of nature as Queen Sivagami. Every actor in this movie physically embodied their characters, emotionally committed to the drama, and symbolically represented ideals or flaws. There is not a single weak link or wasted role in this movie. Lastly, the music was composed by Keeravani, and it is narrative fuel. Like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, Baahubali uses musical themes to represent characters and emotions. You hear a motif and feel the character even before they speak. Baahubali's theme is triumphant, regal, and rising like destiny incarnate. Avantika's theme is mysterious and sensual like echoing voices. Devasena's theme is sorrowful like a caged bird. Even in the final war sequence, the music is aggressive, tribal, and primal. It gives us scale, stakes, and soul. Cinema is a language of light and sound, and Baahubali speaks fluently in both. Baahubali: The Beginning isn't just a movie, it's an experience. It's a film that reaches for the divine and delivers something genuinely timeless. Every frame, every note, every line of dialogue is crafted with such mythic sincerity that it pulls you into a world where gods walk like men and men fight with the fire of gods. Whether it's the romance, the drama, the world building, or the unforgettable characters, this movie had me fully immersed from start to finish. S.S. Rajamouli didn't just direct a film, he created a modern epic. I laughed, gasped, and cheered. I've never seen a movie so boldly theatrical yet so emotionally grounded. Baahubali: The Beginning is everything I love about cinema. It's grand, operatic, intimate, and endlessly rewatchable. This is a story of legacy, sacrifice, identity, and honor, and it's one that will stay with me for a long, long time. This film is my Avengers Infinity War, and I cannot recommend it enough. I'm so excited to review the sequel, Baahubali: The Conclusion. Thank you for listening to my review of Baahubali: The Beginning. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and hit subscribe. If you did not enjoy the content, thank you for sticking around. As always, I would love to read what you have to say, so leave a comment and let me know what you're thinking. Also, if there's something you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know and I will do my best to get to it. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, then you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast, Good Friends. Again, thanks for watching. My name is Diego and I will see you next time.